This is measured explosion, where pressure becomes something you can't hide. And for now, I'll be known as the quiet signal, because as time goes on, this signal won't be as quiet. This is a bonus episode called The Web of Truth. Picture a bright, noisy preschool classroom, a group of 4 and 5-year-olds sitting on a rug, and a teacher asking that age old question: what do you want to be when you grow up? Down the line it goes: a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, a firefighter, an accountant. Clean, predictable answers, prepackaged roles laid out to keep the machinery of society humming smoothly. Then the question hits me. I look up, dead serious, and say, I want to be Spider-Man when I grow up. The teachers and my mother started laughing out loud. But who was actually answering the question? The other kids were picking jobs. They were choosing how they were going to fit into the machine. But when a child says Spider-Man, they aren't thinking about a career, a paycheck, or a 9 to 5. They're thinking about justice. They're thinking about protecting the innocent, standing up to bullies, and exposing the cowards operating in the shadows. We don't start out wanting to be gears in a clock. Every single one of us is born with a drive to better humanity, to protect our own, and to fight against the darkness. But then the trap snaps shut. As we grow up, the system slowly creeps in through relentless deception, hypocrisy, double standards, and a total inversion of reality. We're conditioned to surrender to authority. They invert up and down, right and wrong, until our fire is snuffed out and traded comfort, denial, and endless excuses. We sit back and pay into extortion, also known as taxes, and obey absurd laws that serve zero human purpose, laws designed solely to feed, fuel, and protect the bloated system that created them. We nod along to the insanity because standing up feels too heavy and staying quiet feels safe. We act like helpless spectators in a world where we're supposed to own. Well, with all that, I never grew out of the mission. I just changed my tools and spandex. Today, I'm shooting webs of words, sometimes tangled, but nobody's perfect. Words that have the power to alter perception, shatter illusions, and rewrite interpretation. A single thread of truth cast with precision can slice through a wall of manufactured noise. My goal isn't just to tell you what to think. It's to force you to stop faking the acting. Stop pretending you have it all figured out and spark the dangerous curiosity to ask, what else am I being lied to about? Because if we're going to change the world, if we're going to fight the change everyone talks about, but no one actually fights for, we have to face the hardest battle first. We have to fight our own reflection. We have to fight the comfortable lies we tell ourselves every morning. We have to fight the ego that makes us pretend to know things we don't. We have to fight the quiet cowardice that tells us to stay in line, keep our heads down, and let the insanity continue. The deception controlling this world only has power because we lend it our compliance. The cowardly, parasitic structures dictating our lives only exist because we keep feeding them our silence. Stop accepting the inversion. Stop making excuses for a system that views you as fuel. Wake up the kid who wanted to fight for justice before the world taught you how to obey. Pick up your voice. It's time to break the illusion and take the world back. So, how do we turn that fire into a force that actually moves the needle? How do we build something real while everyone else just sits around complaining about a broken system? We start by building our own foundation. Imagine a 24/7 lifelong learning and public resource center, a physical and digital sanctuary built for one purpose: honest and raw education, a place where political correctness is thrown out the window because real truth doesn't care about fragile feelings or curated outrage. We need a space where people actually listen to full sentences, process entire ideas, and debate real solutions instead of short circuiting the moment they hear a word or tone that offends them. Real change requires thick skin and open minds. And let's get completely honest about where our resources are going right now. The average American person sitting at home complains that they have no power, no money, and no ability to make a difference. Yet, every single month, the average family bleeds out 150, 300, 700, and even $1,000 on pure waste. Rotting groceries thrown in the trash, forgotten subscriptions, sucking funds out of bank accounts, impulse buys, collecting dust in closets, items never returned, money poured down the drain. Yet The moment an independent project asks for a small donation to fight for actual structural change, the kind of change that directly impacts our children's future, people suddenly cry broke. They'll willingly feed the corporate machine that numbs them, but refuse to invest a fraction of that wasted cash into a movement striving for a better world. It's time to redirect the stream, redirect the energy, take the waste, pull it back from the corporations, and put it toward our own defense. Because we need weapons of accountability. That starts with the GATS framework, the Government Accountability Tracking System. For decades, public officials have used four main weapons against the very citizens who pay their bloated salaries: lack of accountability, zero integrity, weaponized silence, and stall tactics through time. They drag out complaints, bury inquiries, and wait for you to get tired and go away. The GATS framework flips the script. We build our own open source databases first. We track every law, every vote, every dollar, every conflict of interest, and every ignored complaint. We document everything locally until we upgrade to a fully decentralized network that makes their lies, their backroom deals, and their cover ups impossible to delete or hide. We take that same exact accountability into our everyday lives. We fight back against our workplaces, against the subtle discrimination, toxic administrative neglect, and the middle management cowards who hide behind bureaucracy. We fight back against corrupt taxation and the IRS, a predatory extortion scheme that strips wealth from hard working families while funding endless, unconstitutional wars overseas. We fight back for our privacy, demanding an immediate end to a world where everything is sold: our personal data, our private conversations, blackmail, illicit drugs, and human lives. This isn't an overnight revolution. Anyone selling you a magic switch is lying to you. It will take time, but far less time than some want you to believe. The greatest rap the system ever set was convincing you that if you can't fix everything today, you shouldn't start at all. So people stay stuck in the loop. They complain about the system, pay into the system, get crushed by the system when they finally fall on hard times and need help, and then hand that exact same broken loop down to their kids. That loop ends with us. Stop funding our own captivity. Stop accepting excuses from public officials, from your employers, and most importantly, from yourself. We build the Lifelong Resource Center. We track the truth. We fund the fight. We break the cycle and we take our sovereignty back. Once we reclaim our sovereignty, this is where the real work begins. We don't just stop at breaking our chains. We go after the very blueprint that forged them. We challenge and dismantle the perverse incentives, corrupt rules, and parasitic laws designed to keep humanity on its knees. To do that, we have to return to that brutal, uncompromising self reflection. No more fake sympathy. No more comfortable lies. We have to look in the mirror and acknowledge the raw, uncomfortable reality. This world, as it stands, is built on deception from birth until death. Look at the rules of the current game. If you lie, manipulate, and play along with the narrative, and nobody challenges you, you profit. You get promoted. You get protected. But the second you step up and speak the absolute, honest truth, the system turns on you. You get penalized. You get targeted. They project their own deceit onto you and treat you like the liar and the criminal. We're living in a completely inverted reality, an upside down world where a brainwashed population has been trained to call cowardice bravery and bravery cowardice. They shower praise and medals on state institutions, the military, and law enforcement for engaging in violence, extortion, and overreach, all driven by perverse financial and political incentives. Yet, if an ordinary citizen takes those exact same actions to protect their family, defend their rights, or expose corruption, they're demonized, penalized, and thrown in a cage. It's an epidemic of cognitive dissidence, a complete collapse of backbone and accountability. If we truly want actual, lasting change, we cannot use the tactics of the world we're trying to fix. We cannot adopt their deceit, their hypocrisy, or their lack of ethics. We have to hold ourselves to a radically higher standard. When you raise your standard, you stop being a victim of the environment. you gain real control over your life. You reclaim your freedom. You rediscover genuine peace and happiness that no corrupt system can touch or take away. But destroying a broken system without a blueprint for what comes next is mindless. And we have had more than enough mindless decisions dictating our world. Burning down the old world means nothing if you just leave a void for the same parasites to crawl back in. We don't just tear down the old, we build the new. We build new institutions. We build new systems of communication, independent databases, and decentralized networks that render their centralized lies obsolete. We build structures that reward integrity instead of corruption and honor truth instead of deceit. The era of blind compliance is over. The era of mindless reaction is finished. Look, I know what you're thinking right now. You're sitting there thinking, man, I just logged on for a quick episode and this guy is telling me I have to suit up, build decentralized databases, fight the inverted world, and conquer my own reflection. Trust me, I get it. Stepping out of the matrix and taking that leap of faith. It's not like throwing on a cheap costume for Halloween. It's a devastatingly depressing and life altering decision to make or to deny. You're looking down at the pavement, and unlike comic books, there is no web fluid safety net down there. So let me be completely real with you. If you're not ready for this, don't force it. Seriously. If you'd rather stay in the quiet neighborhood on the sidelines, eat the corporate fast food, pay into the black hole, and pretend Uncle Ben didn't just tell you about responsibility, nobody's going to drag you off the wall. If you want to play Uncle Monty and pretend the villains aren't running the city, go ahead. But if your spidey sense is already going off, if you've already seen behind the curtain, then you know what staying quiet really costs. Just imagine the alternative. Imagine the next time your life hits the wall, when you actually need help, when you need justice, when you need support, and you reach out to that system only to get denied, denied, denied over and over and over again, like getting thrown into a brick wall by the Green Goblin. Except there's no superhero comeback. Just compounding stress, watching public officials smile in your face while they slam the door closed, leaving you trapped, spinning in a loop after loop of manufactured deception. That's the loop we're breaking right here. With the power to see through the noise comes the absolute responsibility to act. We don't need radioactive spiders or skin tight suits to be dangerous to a corrupt system. We break the cycle by thinking, decoding, and defending our present moment because the rules haven't changed. He who controls the past controls the future. He who controls the present controls the past. They don't get to write our original story anymore, and they certainly don't get to dictate our tomorrow. So take a breath. If you're waiting on permission from the government or law enforcement to stand up against their corruption, waste, and weaponized silence, you'll be waiting forever. Or worse, you'll end up playing right into an engineered revolution controlled by the very deception you claim to fight. The powers at the top know when a true awakening is coming, and because they can't stop it outright, they hijack it, overtake it, and redirect the anger and energy to preserve their control and perverse incentives. That loop breaks right now. The second you hear this message, the illusion is already shattered. Now, if you choose to slide back into that loop out of fear or comfort, that's on you. But don't forget, look in the mirror and face what this system has built inside of you. If a critique of a broken system offends you, you've just identified yourself as part of the machine you complain about in this inverted world. The choice has always been yours. I'll end with one of my quotes. We all follow unchosen paths until we finally decide to create our own. Thank you for listening. This is Measured Explosion, where pressure becomes something you can't hide.